Why are Israel and Palestine always at war? I bet you've asked yourself that question before. You should know that this conflict has historical, religious, economic, and political motivations, and it dates back to times before the birth of Christ. Do you want to know a little more about this conflict from its origins? Go grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable in your chair, and come with me. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Paolo, I'm a geography teacher, and welcome to Geo Illustrata. Well, let's start by talking about the location. After all, this is a geography video, right? The Palestinian territory is located between the Mediterranean Sea, the Jordan River, and the Dead Sea, over in the Middle East. Well, folks, what you need to know is that this conflict is older than dirt, and it dates back to the time before the birth of Christ. However, let's just start our narrative from the birth of Christ onward, all right? Well, at that time, the place that is now known as Palestine was the region where the Jews lived, which was the Kingdom of Israel, and it was ruled by the Roman Empire. And even back then, there were already conflicts, right, between Jews in the Kingdom of Israel and the Roman Empire. One of the most notable was what happened in the year 70 AD, when the Jews rebelled and went to war against the Romans. However, the Jews were defeated and expelled from their lands. Another significant clash happened in the year 130 AD, when the Jews once again went to war against the Roman Empire and were once again defeated. However, this time, the emperor not only expelled them, but also imposed an additional punishment, renaming the place, right? Their homeland was renamed Palestine in honor of the Philistines, who were historical enemies of the Jews. And that's exactly where this name comes from, right? Palestine. In other words, it was a name that was created as a punishment for the Jewish people. Well, from that moment on, everyone who lived in that territory was called Palestinian, regardless of the religion they followed. Here's the background on how the name Palestine was created. This is just a brief summary. Well, now let's take a little historical leap and get to the year 1517, which was when the Ottoman Empire took control of the region after the fall of the Roman Empire. And this control of the Ottoman Empire over the region of Palestine lasted until around the time of the First World War. And guys, it's after the First World War that things really start to heat up in the region of Palestine. But before we talk about that, we need to talk about Zionism, which is also a very important milestone in the history of this conflict. But before that, guys, if you're enjoying the video, leave a like down below. It really helps, okay? Leave a comment. Let us know if you liked it or if you didn't. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike too. That's no problem. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now let's get back to the video. Well, Zionism is a Jewish movement that mainly started with the idea of creating a Jewish state. Since in Judaism, the ancient territory of Israel was a land that had been promised to them by God, obviously, that would be the ideal place for the creation of the new state. Now, going back to World War I, something very important happens. Because England stated that it would support the Zionist cause if England won World War I, which actually happens because England wins and goes on to control the Palestinian territory and support the Zionist cause, especially regarding the creation of a Jewish state in the region of Palestine. In the following years, between the end of World War I and the beginning of World War II, what happened was that the persecution of Jews increased greatly in Europe, mainly because of the rise of Hitler and Nazism, which caused Jews to migrate en masse to the region of Palestine. Well, and obviously the Palestinians didn't like that very much, right? Which made the conflicts between these peoples intensify even more. After World War II and the Holocaust, which was that terrible massacre of the Jewish people, the international demand for the creation of a state for the Jews increased a lot, which led the UN to approve, in the year 1900, a plan to partition the Palestinian territory into two states, one Jewish, occupying 57% of the area, and the other Arab Palestinian, which kept the rest of the land. And you can imagine how happy that decision made the Palestinians, right? It was obvious that things were going to go wrong, and that's exactly what happened, because this episode made the conflicts between these peoples even worse and much more intense. That's a lot of information, right, folks? Take a deep breath and hang in. There's more ahead, okay? A significant event in this conflict happened on May 14, 1948, which was the date when the Jews finally founded the State of Israel in the region of Palestine. This also didn't please the Arabs living in the region of Palestine at all, so much so that one day after the creation of Israel, they declared war on the new state. The Jews didn't even get a chance to celebrate. And the result of this new conflict, which lasted for years, was the defeat of the Arabs and the annexation of more Palestinian lands by the Jews, when the State of Israel came to have 75% of the lands of the former Palestinian territory. And part of the remaining lands were annexed by Transjordan in the West Bank, and by Egypt in the Gaza Strip region. As a result of this, many Palestinians took refuge in neighboring Arab states, and another large part remained under the control and authority of Israel. And from then on, now getting to the conclusion of this long and troubled history, what we've seen is the increasing loss of rights, freedom, and land for the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Israel has consolidated itself as a strong state with great military power, mainly because they have the support of the United States. And up to the present day, many conflicts still happen in that region. Come on, it's very common for us to turn on the TV to any news channel and see that some kind of conflict is happening there. There have even been attempts to reach a peace agreement, but the deadlock is far from leading to a peaceful relationship and a happy ending, unfortunately. Well, this topic is very complex, isn't it? I created this summary and hope you enjoyed and understood it. I've added some article suggestions in the video description for anyone interested in learning more. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, okay? That will help a lot. Leave a comment saying what you liked and what you didn't like. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Thanks. See you, everyone.